Before we jump into it, we had so much success, and I just want to say I'm really proud of the 5 of you that took advantage of our summer special promo, and I can't wait to showcase those transformations. So 90 days from now, you're going to be seeing those incredible transformation. And me and Kyle, we get fired up. We love summer special. So we're opening up 3 more spots. So if you didn't take action Monday and you still want to see amazing results, it is not too late at all. You clicked on this episode for a reason. You want to shred fat, you want to build muscle. So let me do the hard work for you, give you the exact instructions and accountability you need to see your guaranteed results. If you want to take advantage of this, once again, I'm opening up 3 more spots at this incredible rate. Just message me summer special on Instagram to @ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT. Now into the episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I'm your special effects audio engineer and coach, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm fired up.
And this is going to be a really fun episode. So I get asked all the time, how do I shred fat? What do I do to shred fat? How do I build muscle? How do I shred fat without losing muscle? And I get a million sub questions. So I actually went through, I made like one of those walls you see when they're chasing down criminals, and I drew arrows and made connections. And I took the top 12 questions I got about this subject, and I just wanted to jump into them because we're going to get some context. We're going to talk about common problems and objections. I think this is going to be a really unique way to learn more about the tenets of how you can lose fat without losing muscle in the summer. So summer, a lot of people say it's a hard time. Some people say it's an easy time. That's to be debated. But nonetheless, after these 12 questions and our dive in, it's going to be real easy for you. So it's going to be amazing. So the first question: what diet do I actually need to be on to shred fat? Should I cut carbs, get lean for summer? How many calories should I be eating? And should I be doing keto? I heard it's the best. So all too often, this is generally where people start. They make that mental connection. It's time to lose fat. I need to get in shape. I'm going to a beach. I'm going on vacation. I got a wedding. What now? That's always the first question. And generally, it'll go into one of these sub questions here of a specific diet. So right off the hop, if you want to lose fat, it quite simply is CICO, calories in versus calories out. If your body burns more calories than it's consuming, you will lose weight. You will lose fat. This is quite simply a process. And once again, everyone likes to think there's an exception to this rule and a calorie deficit doesn't work for them. This is not true whatsoever. And you can create a deficit one of 2 ways. You can create it through exercise, which I would argue is a hard way because you need to, like I was going to say run, but you need to do a lot of exercise to burn a lot of calories. It's almost pathetic how quick you can eat it back and how easy it is to eat it back. So when you're going about it this way and you just say, I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to go on these runs, I'm going to go on these hikes, I'm going to be in the gym 5 hours, chances are you're going to burn yourself out. You're not going to burn enough calories, and you're probably going to end up eating it back. So I would highly avoid this. Instead, activity and exercise can be a tool that you can manipulate to see results. One of the best things you could do, be on a consistent workout regimen and achieve a certain amount of steps. And 10K is a great number. I personally love it, but be honest with yourself. If you're doing 3,000, you'll probably start to see pretty good results by moving up to 6,000 and continuing to scale that up. The second way you can actually be in a deficit is by eating less. So this doesn't even mean cutting out carbs. This doesn't mean being on some funky diet like keto. Where these things have their benefits, and I guess those go kind of hand in hand, is that it helps you eliminate calories. And that's where generally people will see results. When you go on an exotic diet, if you will, like if you're only eating papaya fruit and protein shakes, chances are you're not eating your normal things. You're not eating your late night chips. You're not stopping at McDonald's. You're just eating your papaya and protein shakes. So if that's you, that's where people in that first week, they'll lose like 5 pounds and they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is phenomenal. It's finally working. I'm going to keep doing this. The problem with that is there's no flexibility, especially if we're talking about summer. You're going to be going to barbecues, you're going to be going to parties, you're going to be going out for a burger, a late night milkshake or something like that. You want to be able to enjoy these things, have a life, and not actually resent what you're doing. And that's where CICO is so important. And the best way to achieve this is by eating at your maintenance if you want to stay the same, or eating at a deficit. So if you're looking to achieve what your macros are and you're looking to learn that, what I recommend is download MyFitnessPal, just start eating and listen to hunger signaling. So I want you to eat till you're satisfied satisfied, not till you're hungry, not till you're full. And you're going to start tracking everything you eat, and you're going to be brutally honest. Every taste, every lick, every bite, you are going to track that in sauces. And it's something you're going to need to improve over time. Your accuracy might not be perfect at first, but even if we're imperfectly perfect, this is going to be the startings of success for you in understanding how many calories you need to eat. Then once we narrow in on that number, let's say I eat an average of 2,800 calories a day, and I'm weighing in every single day. I'll be able to identify if my weight stays the same, I'm at maintenance. If my weight is going up, I'm in a surplus. And if my weight's going down, I'm in a deficit. And most people that do this will just naturally self-correct because you're logging. You'll be like, okay, I shouldn't go get a second ice cream. This is ridiculous. I don't want to log it in there. It's a little embarrassing. So right away, when people do this alone, you'll naturally start to put yourself in a deficit because you're just no longer eating in a surplus, and your body will kind of correct out. You have a little bit less food volume. From there, you can manipulate this number and decrease the calories over time to actually lose fat and really optimize this process. So I know that was a lot, but hopefully that gives you the tenets of kind of what Keto is. Anything to add there, Kyle?
Yeah, I just think like when it comes to being like the best diet that you should be on, I really, really believe in flexible dieting. And I just want to talk about it because these are such good questions, right? Cutting out carbs, doing keto. A lot of people ask about intermittent fasting. And the truth is, when it comes down to summer and getting ready for summer, I feel like the people who are on the most restrictive diets end up doing the absolute worst, especially because there's a lot of events that come up, right? There's a lot of things, and we're already starting to notice it, whether it's a barbecue, whether it's different celebrations, like there's always something going on. And when you are so restricted to the point where it's like you have no flexibility, most of the time people they end up having that screw it mentality. It's like, oh, well, I can't figure it out and it's just too hard to manage. Who cares? I'm not even going to try. And when you have flexible dieting, when you start flexible dieting, it's almost like a puzzle. And I do this so often where it's like, I know I have something going on. I'm going to plan around it. Okay, we've got a barbecue. We've got obviously Mother's Day just passed. Like there's going to be a lot of cottage things for some people. It's like, how can I make this work? And you're able to make it work instead of just being like, either like I'm never going to have fun or I'm just going to go off the deep end and just have so much. And I see so many people struggling with this. But when it comes down to tracking, like Josh said, my only like main goal with it is just accountability and awareness. So AA, those two things, like that's the main reason I'm doing it, is just to be aware. And it's been over 10 years. I'll have to figure out when I downloaded my Fitness Pal, but it's been so many years, and it just helps so much because every time you want to have that extra bite or anytime you're trying to plan ahead, it just tells you, hey, here's what you're working with and here's how you can navigate it. So I think those things are really, really important when it comes to being the best diet, and that's my thoughts on that subject.
Yeah, and I can't get mad at people when they ask about keto or they ask about carbs or whatever it may be, because you have the right idea. You're like, I need to create change. I want to lose fat. How do I do that? And you can always get exotic with things. Like if you ask me for directions somewhere, I could say it's a lot faster if you skydive there. Like we have a helicopter that goes up, jump out. You'd be like, okay, but I could drive there or walk there. So the simplest and easiest solution is calories, and you can create your own tenets within it. Some people like eating higher fat. Some people like eating higher carb. You totally have flexibility within that to make your decisions and really fit to your type of eating. Whether maybe you have more of like a Middle Eastern type of style of eating, and obviously that will change the macros you have, or maybe you're someone who always just has like a ton of fat and you like having high fat, high protein, and keto fits for you perfectly. There's nothing wrong with keto. It's just trying to find an exotic solution fit for you may not be the best. And that's where it's very individualized and personal. And that's where we'll set macros. But as long as you have your calories accounted for, we're already on the process where we're losing fat. We can control our deficit, and it puts us in the driver's seat. Next up to that is protein. So when you're getting enough protein, it's going to help sate you. And to this question, it's actually going to help you maintain more muscle. So you're going to feel more full with your food. You're going to have more energy. You can get a lot of great micronutrients, and it's going to really help you with your compositional change. So the easiest rule here is to work up to about 1 gram per body weight. And if you want to have a little bit less and kind of zone that down, you could get away with about 0.8 grams per body weight. And you don't have to go 0 to 100. If you're having like 50 grams a day, don't just go nuts and you're 220 pounds and start eating 220. That might be a little radical. Just aim to move that up over time. So now that we kind of know what we need to do calorie-wise, how to lose, we're tracking, we're doing all these great things, some ancillary questions are, what supplements actually help with fat loss?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is probably the thing most people run to before anything. And it's just, once again, we're ingrained to want quick fixes. And even to this day, it just seems like marketing for these companies, they do a really, really good job. They say it helps you with your hormones, your gut health. Like they use every buzzword, metabolism, and then obviously quick fat loss. And the truth is, there is no proper supplement that's going to help you lose fat. The supplement I always do recommend when you are hitting your workouts and strength training and you're also in a deficit and keeping track of your nutrition with your protein and all that other stuff would be creatine. It's the one thing that's been studied over and over again that gives you some incredible results and incredible benefits to help you with your body composition. So that would be the one thing I would recommend. And if you are someone like Josh just said, protein is very important, of course, and you do struggle with getting your protein in, obviously the first step is always going for healthy whole food. Like a chicken breast will give you so many more micronutrients. It's going to fill you up a lot more. But if you're on the go and you just need that extra shake, like I'm totally for just having a scoop of protein, but I see too many people relying on it. Like I had one guy tell me recently, he said he had 4 shakes a day. And I'm like, so what are you eating during the day? Like you need proper food. You can still get to your goals with that, but it's another story for another day. But I would say those are really the big things. And even pre-workout can be a good one. So caffeine, of course, if you are needing a bit of a boost, like it can help you stay in the gym longer. It can help you with, more reps, more sets, but these are very, very small things compared to the deficit that we are talking about. And then obviously having a proper strength training program. So there's no secret. If anyone tells you that their drink is the thing that's going to help them lose fat, you should block them, delete them. You should just never talk to them again because they're probably lying to you.
Or they're trying to sell you something. And just know supplements are supplemental to a great training and diet regimen. So that's where more than anything else, obviously, like you could have amino acids instead of maybe a food or a snack to have 0 calories and be somewhat full. Get some aminos if you're in a deficit. That's something you could explore. Creatine, obviously, like Kyle said, will help. Even same with your pre-workout, that can give you some more energy. Caffeine can be a little bit of an appetite suppressant as well. So there are things you could do, but they're supplemental to the core, and that's where you should really not even focus in on these too much, and you should really look at the other factors more than anything. Then the next question we'll get is, okay, I know how to lose fat now, but can I lose fat and gain muscle at the same time? Is this even possible? And absolutely, it's possible. We've done a whole series on this ourselves, and it's going to be extra possible the less trained you are. If you're relatively new to the gym or you're an intermediate, it's going to be super, super possible. Even for an expert, it definitely is doable. And what you can control here is you could always increase your volume of training, so you could train harder. Of course, psychologically, it's going to be harder to do if you're eating less, and that's where you're going to have to be really dialed. You're going to really need to focus in on recovery. You're going to need to be on a better routine for you. And that's why with my coaching, most people come in and they're just doing random movements or they've done the same thing. When I get in there and I challenge you and I make a routine that's going to help you grow, that's periodized, that is really going to move the needle and really focus in on what you need to focus on in terms of your weakness and your physique, your strengths, your expertise level. It really helps you put on more muscle, have more intensity while you're losing that fat. And this is an amazing process when you do it. So it really comes down to great rest, great recovery, and optimizing that training block. Another question we'll get is how much water should I drink to help with fat loss? So although water won't directly help with fat loss, it will indirectly help because it'll once again satiate you. It'll keep you hydrated, which will stop a whole suite of bad things from happening because when you're dehydrated, it does not go well for you. And when you're cutting especially, oftentimes we'll be bored, we'll want to reach for something. So having enough water in your system will actually help you feel more full, and it will just keep everything going well. And it's funny, I've had clients, we're doing everything right, we're hitting our macros, we've lost a ton of weight, things will be a little bit sticky, and then we'll really say, okay, how's the water? And we'll say, it's lacking. And we'll start to address this, and we'll naturally notice right when we pop into this that sometimes it just flushes everything out. It kind of just gives your body a nice reset. So you want to be drinking enough water to make sure you are hydrated. It's very hard to give uniform examples for everyone. Some people will say a gallon, some people will say 2.5 liters, some people will say half a gallon. Once again, I don't love doing it because my advice for someone who's 6'6", 300 is going to be incredibly different from someone who's 4'10" and 90 pounds. Like it's hard to give those guidelines. So you might want to experiment with it. Obviously, hydration signs you can see when you pee. If your pee is like yellow or green, you definitely need some water. If it's clear white, you may be having a little bit too much and you could back off from that. And some things I do because I love water and I've really just made a habit of having it near me is trying to limit chugging, just focusing on sipping, keeping it near me too stops me from grabbing for other things. So that's what I try to focus in there. Anything you want to add for that?
Yeah, I mean, just when it comes down to water as well, I talked about this on the live stream the other day with our coaching clients because within our challenge, we have different tips and things to help with all of them, and water's been a big focus, is have a nice water bottle. Like, invest in something that you actually like, right? I think a lot of times when I talk to someone, they're just always going to the water fountain at the gym, or they never have it by their side. I'm like, there's really nice bottles out there. Keep it always by your side, and you'll be totally good to go. And it just makes such a big difference. So yeah, that's just a random thought that I had on that topic.
Okay, so now we have the gist of how to be in a deficit. Obviously, week to week, we're going to have to make necessary changes to make sure we're losing weight. We're weighing in every day. We're training hard. We're on a great regimen, a great split. Problems are going to persist. This is summer. So summer is going to come up, and these are usually the barriers that people will have and the questions we'll get around that. So we're going to kind of rapid fire through these. I'm going to direct some of them to Kyle. So the first question is, how do I stop snacking at night? That's where I lose a lot of my progress.
Honestly, when it comes to snacking at night, I just really believe in having a cutoff time. And the main reason is because at the end of the night, your willpower is limited, right? So when you think of the start of the day, you have a full gas tank, you're at 100%, you can make really good decisions. Like, I'm never going to wake up and be like, I'm going to go grab a donut. Whereas at 9 p.m., when you're over calories and you're bored and you're tired and you're stressed and whatever the case is, it's so much easier to give in because your gas tank is at like 20% or maybe even fully drained. And so I really like the idea of a cutoff time. And that's going to be number one. Number two is just having healthy snack alternatives. So I personally, and I know this will be hard for people depending on kids and their situation and whatnot, is I try not to bring anything into the house, because I know if there's a list of foods that I know I will go off on and I'll just find a way to have at random times, is just I don't bring that in. Like, if I happen to go on a crazy tangent where like I'm crazy hungry, first of all, I'll cut myself off. But if I happen to have some carrots and a bag of Quest chips, like, it's not going to throw my progress off. Like, I'll be fine. And it's 100 and something calories, right? So that's going to be my biggest thing. But your desire to succeed has to be higher than that like quick fix and that quick desire to just have something that might taste good for a few seconds. Like, for me, an ice cream, if I have a tub of it, it'll be gone in 2 days. I just know myself so well. So I'm just like, there's no point in bringing that. If I have a Halo top that's 300 calories, I'll probably be able to fit it in and work around it. So that's just going to be my main tip. And I hope that helps you in some way or another.
Yeah, mindless eating rarely is productive. And back to the hunger signaling, it's better if you eat when you're hungry. Snacking is usually just for entertainment. It's to feel good. It's to kind of get something tasty. And that's where I think it's easy to go over, because there's just less control with it. It's less necessary. And especially if it's mindless eating in front of a TV. I like Kyle's point of a cutoff, because usually nothing productive happens after 8 p.m. So it's generally a good rule if you can stop it. If you are going to snack, pre-log it in, pre-portion it. Don't deviate from that. Be real with yourself. And if you can't do that, maybe explore that cutoff until you can create better habits, because oftentimes you'll just do something because it's common and it's hard to break out of that. But once you start to break out of that, that's where you can see some progress. So those were all phenomenal tips. Next question we got is like, okay, snacking at night's not an issue. What do you do with these special events, these barbecues, these weekends, vacations? How can you still see success with your weight loss or your cut during these times?
It's just all about planning ahead. Like, very rarely are there times where it's just like brought up on you, where it's like going to be a very hard experience where it's like you can't really hit your goals. For me, obviously, I'm a schedule oriented person, so I can pretty much know when things are going on. But it's just like, for the first part is just really planning ahead. If I know that the barbecue is going to be taking place, like, I am not like always the person who's just like, I'm not going to have anything, I'll bring a broccoli, chicken, and rice. Like, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to limit myself. So first of all, I think it's really important to know that that's going to be taking place. And I've kind of become a specialist at saving calories for specific dinners, specific events. And sometimes I'm hungry throughout the day because of it. But I think too many people just go about their regular life and not realizing that it's probably going to be a higher calorie dinner or weekend or whatever it is, and they don't really plan for that. So I think planning is going to be the first and most important thing. The second thing is just portion control, right? So using the barbecue as an example, you 100% can work around it. Maybe you won't have 3 hot dogs and 2 burgers, but you can have 1 hot dog and 1 burger. Like, you can find a way to make it fit your calories depending on where you're at, and you have the control to portion. Like, no one's gonna take the food and just throw it in your mouth. Like, you can say, hey, here's what I'm gonna do. And there are also healthier alternatives. So you can kind of start to get funky if you're the one having the barbecue, grab some turkey burgers. And like, there's definitely a lot of great ways, but it comes down to sometimes like planning, 100% planning ahead, but then also sometimes doing the uncomfortable thing. Like you also have to be okay with saying no. If someone just says, hey, we're going out to dinner, I'm like, hey, I already hit my calories for the day, and I will do that. Like I've been asked a numerous amount of times, like, hey, I'm going to plan to do this and whatever the case is. And I'm like, hey, I'm totally fine. Like I'm in a deficit. I'm not hungry. Like I'm good, but I'd be down this weekend if you want to do something. So yeah, being able to say no can 100% help you along the way, depending on the situation, of course.
Yeah, just planning ahead, really working within the confines of what you have, being realistic, and really that's what it comes down to. And there's always solutions. You just gotta have the attitude too that you want it, that you are gonna win. You can bring your own snacks, like Kyle said. You can obviously pre-logging is the best thing you can ever do because you can hit your calories and have that cut off, right? And it's just about that ability to have that restraint. You can also enjoy these events for what they are, right? Like, and you can also decide, you could say, I know I have this vacation. I'm gonna go back to maintenance for this week. I'm gonna mitigate damage because that's what realistic and good for me. That's better than you binging out and going double your calories every day, gaining all your weight back and ending in a vicious cycle. Just the same, like barbecues, weekends, you could aim to do healthy things, go on hikes with friends. You could just enjoy companies of other. You can nurse like your one drink, or you can really enjoy your hot dog, and you can always pre-eat with some protein. There's always solutions. And another question we'll get is like, how do you stay motivated when it's hot and busy? So for me, I find I'm always more motivated when it's hotter, just because like you're in less clothes. Generally when it's hot, I find I'm less hungry personally. It's winter for me that's more dangerous because you're like locked inside and bored and not doing much. So I think the best thing you can do is like really lean into your goals, track your progress, have things you're excited for, and stay busy. Like do things, have activities. We play volleyball. It's a great time to go on hikes. It's a great time to go on some extra walks. It's a great time just to see people and get out. I find people are more motivated than ever to do things. And the less you can make it around having excess food, the better. And it's not to say you can't enjoy things. Like if you want to have an amazing ice cream scoop, log that in, eat around that for the day, and learn to navigate these situations and still win with everything going on. And another question I'll get is, how do I stay consistent with my kids at home during summer break? And it's the same principles through and through. You'll notice all of these are just excuses, because it's not to say it's not hard. Like even for me, it's a big difference, obviously, when my son's in daycare versus out of it. But you just need to make it work. And even for him, he's starting to learn to ride a bike with training wheels, and I can still get my steps following him around, playing with him, bouncing on the trampolines. Very, very exhausting with him, and especially when he wants me to hold him while I do it. So I just need to find ways to still do it, to enjoy that time with them, and to not let them be an excuse for it. I'll cook healthy meals. I'll get him involved. We'll do different things like that. And you have to be honest too. Like if it doesn't make sense for you to go to gym certain days, you won't be able to do it. Or if you have to wake up earlier and negotiate with your partner, like you just need to find ways to succeed with what you have. So with any of these solutions, and sometimes people say, I can't go on walks. It's too hot in Florida in the summer. And I remember anytime I've been there in the summer, it's hot as heck, and I don't blame them. And like you have the opportunity to go to a mall walk or buy a walking pad or go on walks at night or early in the morning. So you just need to look at for what it is. And you could wish like, oh, I wish it wasn't so hot. That's not a winning mentality. Like that's just going to keep the cycle of what's happening to keep happening. You need to play within the sandbox that you're in and look for different ways to identify and still find success through that. So now that we've isolated objections, we know what to do. The last and final question for Kyle is, how do you break through fat loss plateaus? You're doing everything right, but it stops working and weight stops moving.
So fantastic question. I know a lot of people are in that, and it depends on like where you're at. And some people have been dieting for a long time. And the truth is, when it comes to plateaus, I've seen a lot of it. And I find a lot of times it's not actually you being in a plateau. It's just potentially doing the wrong stuff. So this is pretty crazy, and once again, hard for some people to hear. But oftentimes when someone comes to me with a problem where it's like, hey, I've been dieting for 8 weeks and like I'm just stuck, we'll take a look at everything. Like, especially with our coaching program, it's taking a full 360 look at everything that's going on. And so, for example, if I were to pull up their MyFitnessPal or see where their calories are at, there's usually some different things that I'll notice, such as inaccuracies on the weekend. I see a lot of inaccuracies within logging. So it's just people guessing all the time, going out to eat, not having accurate numbers and whatnot. So I just wanted to address that, because I'd say about 70 to 80% of the time, it's just simply most people doing the wrong stuff, right? It's them thinking they've been consistent, but not actually being consistent, or not using measuring cups or scales or whatever the case is. So most people, like I said, I'm kind of generalizing here, they're not in a actual plateau. They're just more so in a kind of not doing stuff right type of plateau. So once we're able to optimize, once we're able to use everything, all the right measuring tools, we're able to change the calories and make sure that you're hitting everything on the weekend and you're not accounting for things. Like a lot of times people won't account for the cream in their coffee and the extra sauces, or like, they go to a barbecue and they don't log it and they just say, oh, whatever. And it's like, you're constantly throwing yourself off and it's just not going to help. Now, the other thing is when we are in true plateaus, we have a number of different strategies. Once again, we've had a lot of people come to us that say, hey, I want to break out of this plateau. And there's a lot of different approaches. Sometimes when someone's been dieting for a while and they've lost 60 pounds, we'll change up their calories. We're going to get you to a new set point. We're going to give you a bit of a reverse diet, which we talked about recently. We'll start to bring, your hormones, your metabolism up to a better spot, and then we'll attack it again and we'll be able to help you lose 10 to 20 pounds, but it might take a little bit longer, right? So a lot of it is just having the right strategy, having the right accountability, and just making the right changes. And every person is so different. And like I said, the main thing is most people aren't really in a plateau. It's just they think they are because they haven't been consistent enough and they don't also have the right data. Like when I ask someone and they say, hey, like I'm stuck, I'm like, okay, let me take a look here. MyFitnessPal, how are your weigh-ins? Like, are you doing your measurements? And most of the time people are like, oh, like I haven't been weighing in, but like they don't have the data. So you need the right information. And that's going to be my biggest tip. I know it might be a different one than you were expecting, but that's my honest answer there.
Yeah. And we'll be here to help you break through any plateau you ever have, because for a lot of people, it's psychological or behavioral more than anything else, I think, because plateau usually will be like 5 days of doing things right, 2 days not. And data never lies. Like when I can see the data, I'm able to identify what we need to do. Some people we have to increase that deficit. Some people we have to increase the movement. Some people we need to just become more accurate and more dialed into what we're doing. Others need more recovery. Like it's different for everyone, but like Kyle said, it comes down to doing the things that you're doing right and doing them better and doing them with more focus and intention. And once again, if you want to take all this guesswork out, you want to have me and Kyle do the hard work, remove any ambiguity or emotional attachment to it so we can help you just see the results you deserve, tell you what you need to do at a realistic level to where you're going to be able to progress. It's going to be really bite-sized, really doable. We'd love to do that for you with our summer special, which we're so excited to have back. So DM us on Instagram, summer special, if you want to lose guaranteed fat, build new muscle, and build the beach body of your dreams.